Okay, hey everybody, back again. I got another card for you with Bishop from the X-Men. This is going to be a fun one. It's going to be pretty clean. Nice dramatic pose for him. Ready to rock and roll with it. Making some adjustments to my microphone. Running a little later than usual today because doing this one around some revamp work for some projects. Got a couple of things going on and knocking stuff out left and right, and just ran over a little bit today before I got to this opportunity. But gonna knock it out for you. This is a great character. For those of you that don't know or have seen him from like the animation, the cartoons and whatnot, the cartoon series is where he's most commonly known these days. But Bishop was from a storyline where Forge, another X-Men character from the future, had sent him back from an alternate reality to chase and stop Cable from coming to our timeline, present day, so that he could take care of Apocalypse, because even though Cable went back, he still failed. And he was trying to take out different people that were going to be critical to causing his future to become a reality, which was taken over by the Nimrod style Sentinel. So it got pretty dry there for a little bit, and then all of a sudden it just opened up with this storyline. I mean, the X-Men was doing really, really good, but when it took off with this future cross, man, it just opened it wide open. This story ran for a little bit. If I remember right, don't hold me to this because I don't exactly remember how long, but I believe it was almost a year that Bishop was involved with the X-Men. So, pretty impressive stuff for a new character to come in and make such a mark. Hey Matt, glad you made it, man. Jay, thanks for popping on. This isn't exactly the future past version. This is more of the comic book rendition. It's a hodgepodge of different variations of him. It's just my take on the character. It's not really specifically any timeline. Just how I thought he should look. I haven't drawn this character too much. Only a couple times, in fact. But I thought it would be cool to change things up a little bit and see how he looked. So we're going to knock him out. Not unlike Cable, he has his own form of armor. He does skin it quite a different way, though, because he actually wraps his stuff in an X-Men uniform. But no doubt about it, though, it's got those futuristic weapons and all that going on. And this is a little more space age design than the typical X-Men infused stuff. It's more slick than anything else. Now this is a different piece right here. This is a belt to the holster that goes right down here. Just lining that off so I don't mess it up. And these are not fingers right here. This is actually part of the gun itself that layers through. Okay. This is going to be the front end of the weapon right here. And the way this one comes up, it's one of those trademark bishop weapons that pops open. And I always loved that about the character when Mark Silvestri did the X-Men, and a couple of other select artists, but mainly Will Spatasio when he was on it, and Mark Silvestri when they were messing with it. Man, they used to design the coolest weapons with this stuff. They used to make them really slick, and always made them where they compress down and then pop open into something really, really gnarly. And there's no exact pattern here, of course. I'm just making it up as I go along, making the tech look neat, and trying to get you guys a really cool image to look at. Which I hope I'm accomplishing, at least to some extent. I'm going to do something a little different there. I don't want to edge that out the same way. There we go. And there we go, the front end of his weapon. Now I put a laser sight right here on the side because most of these weapons like this come out that way and have the big red or blue or green dot. And if we were to color this on the computer, I would definitely make that fan out, kind of like a flashlight type of thing. And again, like I said, he won't be showing his hand on this one. It's behind this guard right here. So I'm not going to do that. But what I am going to do is put some of this extensive tubing right up in here. A little drop shadow right there to pop it off. Because these segments pop out of the back of the gun where it again extends out. So that's why you get that look. Just going to put some old school style polished metal marks in here. I know there are a lot of different ways to do this now, and with a color dependent style like mine, it is a lot easier just to go crazy with it, but I'm not going to do that. I don't want to overwork it. And I would rather it have a beautiful color job on top of it with my baseline work, rather than muddy it up with trying to do a David Finch type of thing or Mark Silvestri, you know, excuse me, which doesn't work for my style. A lot of people that saw the Mr. Freeze would probably disagree with that because I did seriously render that thing, but it lent itself to it where a lot of these don't. I mean, that was more like a finished comic piece. I just really love that character. Okay. I'm going to put a little bit of a ridge right here on the bottom of this. Not too much, just a little edge because I want to edge it out. Give it a little drop shadow and make it pop off just a bit. Go ahead and mark out this other stripe on the leg, which some people put stripes on both legs, some people don't. I'm going to put a darker blue one over here rather than the double yellow. I'm going to catch into this sleeve here. Whoops. Again, heavy-handed. So. There we go. If you guys hear me scribbling and you don't know what that is, that was because of the fact that I ground down my lid a little bit. I just gave it a little smooth edge. Hey, Jim. Turnabout's fair play, I guess, bud. I didn't hear you come on. Sorry about that. Not ignoring you, man. Jim was working up this beautiful piece the other morning of Spider-Man and Venom, and I came off and on a couple times, and he didn't hear me, and I asked a couple of things, you know, to get some more feedback going and some more stuff going interactively on the feed, and I seriously wanted to know his influence stuff too, because he has the best answers for this stuff. He just answers the way you never expect. But he's always real about it. Very, very cool guy. But yeah, I was on with the live feed and we missed each other. It was funny. But that's what happens when you're really drawing, you know. It's not that we're overlooking you if you guys don't get answered right away. It's just that, you know, when we're in the moment of doing the drawing, it sometimes takes our attention completely. That's why I've tried to get to where I talk a little more as we go along so that I can give you the guys the insight you want and ask me questions for all the time, but still get the project done so that we can have a nice card to look at. Oh, that's what I get for setting my sound guard on the table. I set my sound guard behind the microphone and it just fell off. Get that line cut in there for his elbow pad there. And we're going to draw up this glove right here, but then I'm going to put the energy burst that we know Bishop for on over and around the hand here in a sec. And I think I'm going to have some fun with it and do classic Kirby Crackles. If you guys don't know what those are, you'll see in a moment. I've seen a lot of the younger guys that come on. They get so upset when guys do, Kirby Crackles and old techniques like that. That still work till this day. I mean, they're valid. But yeah, I love to see that stuff and get those reactions because people just freak out. Man, that's that old circle dude. You shouldn't be doing that. No. I think I'll keep doing it. Thank you very much. So, I don't know how Jack would have taken this character and run with it, but who knows? He was always open for a challenge. He probably would have improved on him even more. Now in this version, I'm going full beard and gonna have it go up over. There's the teeth. I'm not even gonna line in the lip. I'm just gonna go with the mustache and the teeth and the lower lip right there, and the edge of the mouth, and just a little bit of wrap. This is the top of that yellow sleeve that we know from his blue and yellow X-Men uniform. The classic one anyway. He's got the blue and gold armor now, I think. Last I saw. Or is he still in the red and black one? I don't know. He got sucked back into time for a little while in a current storyline. And finally made his way back. And that's when he came back with what I'm drawing right now, which is going to be the dreads here in a minute. Because he had long hair before, but now he's got more of a dread look. Which I actually like on the character. He's cool with it. Because it's not overdone. And they don't tend to look, gnarly or anything. Okay, now we're going to put in those bangs. When I was sketching this out offline, a buddy of mine asked if I was going to put one of the most hypocritical and odd things I've ever heard. He said, "You're going to put the oily curls on there, like this, like they've got him like he looks out of the 70s right now because he doesn't condition his hair." I was like, man, people sometimes have no tact. But this is the way they do his hair. This is the way I'm going to do it. And it's always had a wave to it, so we're keeping the wave. And that's it. Enough said there. I just had to mention that because, I get people asking me questions all the time. Please pay attention to it so that you don't get into a racial situation without even realizing you're doing it just because of a naive question. Enough said. I only wanted to make an example of that because of the fact that I hear that kind of thing all the time, and then people wonder why people get upset with them. Just think before you speak. And he meant it as harmless as possible too. But I was just like, dang, man. This is going to be the edge of the shoulder back here. This is not going to be part of his hair. That's the edge of his shoulder. I've got all the hair over here on the left. And these dreads are short, so they kind of stack on each other. And he's got them tied up in a couple of different places to keep them out from in front of him, so they come around in some odd forms, but they do come around nonetheless. And I think that has to do with the length of them as well, because they're not exactly long, but they work. So I'm going to flip this around so we can do some ribbon wraps. Not trying to do it overkill here. Hey Tom, thanks man. Yeah, right, Matt. I know. Matt just commented on, it's just natural black hair. Don't make a thing out of it. People just get. That's why I find it so humorous, because people just make a big deal out of nothing real quick and offend people because they just don't take the time to think for that split second before they comment. So. Okay, now we've got all that in. Now I'm going to put this gun back here because a lot like Cable, because he came from the same timeline as Forge and Cable, they have this whole thing where they like to put the big guns on him, the Liefeld style weapons and all that. And this gun case comes down underneath his arm over here from the shoulder strap that goes back here. I'm going to put that in real quick and define that. About every fourth or fifth one, the easiest way on the gun strap is to darken one out. It makes it instantly pop off and give it some shading. I'm now going to add another case back here, because of the fact that this one goes off of the gun on the other side, and he's kind of got a pack sticking out there, and I want to give that a little mass and volume. Because depending on the incarnation, he carries a small, low pack. Okay, now I'm going to detail out this belt a little bit, not too much. Dealing out the pack details here. Now that we got that done, I'm going to go over here. Oop. I forgot that. Now, I'm going to grab this thumb right here, and here we go. This will overlap, and I will color it to reflect that. Going to put in traditional style Kirby energy crackles right in here. Now the way you do that is you draw the outline like that, and then you pop in these circles. A few on the in, and a lot on the out. Some people like to leave some of them open, some colored. In most cases, I color them all. And since this is beside his head back here, we can do that like right up against that, and it'll reflect off his face when he gets colored. But he's impervious to his own energy, so we don't have to worry about him getting burned or anything crazy like that if you go that far with it. I'm going to catch the corner of that card right there because I want one right there. Okay? Now, to make this work, you have to kind of stream it off in its own kind of a tail. Like it's fading, like there are particles draining off of it or dripping off of it. That's where the power comes from. Because you don't want to make it look polka dotted, that's weird. But I'm going to leave the open sword end, the handle cap on the sword there. I'm going to leave that open. I'm going to leave the edge of the belt buckle open. These kind of things will, that's the X symbol on the side of his belt right there. And the belt buckle open. I'm going to leave it well lit. That way we can have him come in, put in the red eyes. Because whenever he charges up, his eyes turn red. If you guys haven't noticed that, Bishop's eyes always turn red. They're brown whenever they're an amberish brown color before he does it. But whenever he activates his power and starts absorbing, he actually turns his eyes red, Gambit style. I don't necessarily like him to go solid white, and I really don't want him to go black with the red pupils. That's just weird to me. But what I will do is pop in the eyes, and I'll leave them open, and I'll color them red. Just so you guys will be able to see that he does have some eyeballs. Alright. Now, so he doesn't, because he's looking off the end of this gun this direction, I'm going to seat these eyes just a little deeper because I don't want him to look funky. You know, if I don't give him some direction, it's going to look weird because I made him darker than the rest of the eyes. So, going to leave that open for a brown highlight in there because we just want to give it some depth. Now the mustache is going to be a little tricky. I'm going to put in the tongue right there, draw in the jawline, leave the teeth, and then right here at the bottom, I'm going to darken that up. So again, we can highlight it with some brown and make it look really cool. And you guys have seen me do enough of these cards, you know exactly what I'm going to do with the hair. I'm going to light up one side of it and leave the other open. And if you guys don't know what I'm doing, definitely check out some of the other cards and you'll be able to tell specifically in more detail. But I'm trying to finish this up because we're running up to that 30-minute mark and I want to keep it. I don't want to go off on an hour for this one where I went off for an hour on the cable because it deserved it. Eyeshadow from one side just to pop it up and to give it some life and leave enough for a highlight, and that's it. You go monkeying with it too much, you're going to darken it out and it's going to look bad. Or it's going to make him raven-haired and he's not. Not to mention the fact that this gives huge contrast to my style when I leave the rest of it open. Love that. Love that. About got it here. going to go ahead and finish this up. Come down into these bangs. It's not necessarily bangs, it's just that wisp of hair that hangs down. It's like his, it's like a little bit of the hair fell out kind of thing. Where he has it tied off. So we're going to catch these dreads same way. Try not to get the ribbons. I might. I don't know. I'll try not to. Be a professional. Pay attention. But you never know. You guys never know. You know, it's just one of those things. I might actually do it. Just be coloring along there and go, whoops. And mess the whole thing up because I colored a ribbon. Just get all kinds of questions and comments. Hey man, why'd you ruin it? It was going so good. Got a couple of these crossing over in here. Yeah, they're stacking cool. I like that. Okay. Gonna finish this last one up. Got 2 or 3 more here. Again, because of the shot over here, I'm gonna have this lightened up a little bit. Be a little more open. I'm going to black that one out right in that groove right there. And there we go. We have Bishop. Hope you guys dig it. Matt's always picking on the pouches, man. So, I appreciate it, you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me again. I'm going to put in a couple more details on this thing that I always do right at the end, and give you a minute or two for any questions you may have. If not, that's cool too. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Let's see. Tomorrow will be early evening because I'm booked up with some personal stuff that I've just got to knock out. But it will be a great one. It's going to be classic Warpath. I am going to do Warpath. So, I think that'll be a great one for us to check out and see what comes of it. I'm going to put in a little X seal right here. And that's it. I'm calling it a day. Thanks so much, guys. I will catch you tomorrow. And hey, thanks for that, Tom. I appreciate it, man. And we will go from there. Tomorrow, Warpath. See you tomorrow. Later.